Hi, I'm Richard Leckey. It's my pleasure today to welcome Melanie Dunn. Melanie's the Head of Actuarial Services at Accurium, Fellow of the Institute of Actuaries, and she's the lead author of the report Confidence for Life, a Retirement Advice Framework. Welcome, Melanie.
Thanks, Richard. Lovely to be here with you today.
Good. So maybe if you could start and talk about this report and what how it came about, the sorts of answers that you were trying to get, and perhaps some of the high level approach that you used.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Well, as you mentioned, I'm an actuary by background, and my career's been working in superannuation and retirement. And in general, I'm just passionate about helping advisors give great retirement advice. And part of that is understanding the range of products and strategies available to their retiree clients. And a product class I'm particularly interested in is lifetime income products. And in the market today, there's a wide range of these lifetime income products available for advisors to incorporate into a retirement strategy for their clients. And this diversity has come about through some great innovation and work by providers in the sector. But it does make it a bit challenging for the financial advisors to keep on top of all the new products and features. So Generation Life approached Accurium to undertake some research looking at their investment linked lifetime income product, Life Income, with the goal of us undertaking this actuarial modelling to really compare portfolios that include life income or don't to evidence for financial advisors when and if including lifetime income in their client's portfolio would improve their retirement outcomes. So to do that research, we used a particular type of modeling called stochastic modeling. You may or may not have heard of it. Most tools you might, use on the internet or in your advice software is what we call deterministic. So it uses fixed assumptions. Inflation every year in the future will be 2.5%. Investment returns will be 7%. And all we can really say about that modeling is we know it's not going to happen. You're not going to get 2.5% every year of inflation or 7% every year. So stochastic modeling takes a slightly different approach. What we do is allow for a real world variation in returns and inflation over time. So this year it might be 7, next year it might be 10, then it might be minus 20. So we have this set of stochastic return assumptions. So we use 2,000 simulations of what the future returns might be over the next 50 years. And that allows for simulations and scenarios of everything from GFC type events to really good outcomes and everything in between that kind of sits on the distribution of how we expect future returns might behave. And why that's really important is it allows for sequencing market and inflation risk in assessing these outcomes. So something in retirement that you've probably talked about before, how important sequencing risk is, the ups and downs and how that impacts your asset balance and your future outcomes when you're drawing down that income. So this type of modelling is quite sophisticated, but definitely available to advisors these days. And it really stress tests the portfolios against these market and inflationary risks over time and allows us to answer questions like what's the chance an outcome occurs? What's the likelihood that this portfolio strategy pays an income for life for the client versus this portfolio? Which one gives you the highest confidence of achieving a client's objectives?
Oh, excellent. And with the name of the report, it's called the Confidence for Life, a Retirement Advice Framework. Can you just expand on the retirement advice framework that you were looking to create or help?
For sure. Basically, I wanted to make it as simple as possible for financial advisors to understand when to think about using life income. I encourage advisors to look at all types of lifetime income products. And one of the challenges that they can face is, what type of client does this suit? What type of client should I actually, go to the effort of looking at this product as part of the strategies? So I think it would be really important for this research to help answer that key question for advisors. So the framework is trying to distill down all this complicated actuarial analysis we did into a simple matrix that helps an advisor go, but this type of client, okay, this product should work really well. Let me consider this strategy as part of the set of strategies I'm going to look at for this client. Now, it might not mean that this strategy is the one that they end up recommending, but it's a guide to the advisor that this is a solution that might work for this client. And it would be reasonable to assess a strategy that includes life income when considering what strategies to recommend for a client.
You mentioned coming out of all this amazing research was something simple. Can you explain the simple outputs that you were looking to measure? And then we'll bring up the summary results from your report.
Sure. So the key output we wanted to focus on here was a retirement income. So How confident can an advisor be that a strategy will produce the target lifestyle that a client's looking to achieve, $70,000 a year, whatever it is, for the rest of their life? So with the stochastic modeling, we can turn that into a confidence level, or what I call the retirement strategy score. What proportion of those 2,000 simulations that we run was the strategy successful, that the income could be paid until the lifespan of the household? And we worked out that strategy score for all of the different scenarios that we considered and compared them. So it was all about modeling this wide range of strategies with slightly differing characteristics and portfolio constructions, different investment risks, different allocations to life income, different ages, to identify what are the kind of cohort groups where this would work.
So it sounds like it's a good time to bring up this summary table.
This is the distilled outcome of all the analysis, and there's all the detail in the rest of the report, but this is the key outcome for financial advisors. The most material impact or characteristics we found that impacted whether the life income portfolio outperformed the account-based pension alone portfolio on this metric of retirement income confidence for life was the amount of assets that the household had. That was the primary driver. And for people who are familiar with lifetime income products, this might not be a huge surprise that the households with asset levels within the means testing bands for the age pension showed excellent improvement. What might be surprising, and you were mentioning this before, Richard, is that these higher assets actually found considerable improvement by including life income in the portfolio as well. So I think that's really valuable to advisors to know. It's not just means tested clients today, but actually clients who have higher wealth outside the means testing bands could be a valuable part of their retirement strategy to include a lifetime income product.
So just looking at this, perhaps looking at the couple and, with
Yeah.
1.4 million, so that's quite
Yeah.
a bit over the assets test threshold. And you've said that they get significant improvement for most of the investment strategies. What is sort of the reason for that? How did that happen? Is it the age pension starting to cut in after a few years, or what is it?
That's it. And this research was focused on clients who have an intention to consume some or all of their capital. So we are looking at clients who want to maximize their retirement income over their lifetime. And for those clients, even if you've got 1.4 million, you are going to be consuming your capital to some extent. It might not be they want to spend all of their money, but to have their capital over retirement to help maximize their retirement income. At the start of retirement, they're not getting any age pension. But over time, the age pension starts to come in to support their retirement income objectives. And as that starts to happen, the age pension treatment of these lifetime income products can become really valuable. So for these lifetime income products that meet the innovative income stream requirements, under the assets test, only 60% of the amount you invest in these products is an accessible asset for age pension purposes, compared to, say, an account-based pension where the actual market value of the assets is what's assessed. So what we find is that typically with scenarios with these lifetime income products, most retirees are assets tested at the start or during most of their retirement. And so we see quite a benefit from receiving an uplift in the age pension, whether that be from the first year or from the time that age pension becomes entitled. And that extra income, of course, means that's less they're having to draw down from the rest of their portfolio, say the account-based pension. So you're getting some sequencing risk benefits there, protecting that other assets from having to draw down, particularly in periods of poor returns. And you're getting that extra income from the government that's helping you prolong your other assets to produce that income for life. So it's primarily that kind of sequencing risk benefit and the extra income from the age pension that is helping drive these uplifts in retirement confidence. And we said a significant improvement was where we saw at least 10% increase in confidence in that retirement strategy score.
So perhaps just talking about confidence and longevity risk, how did you build in the probabilities that people will live to certain ages coming up with a confidence level?
Yeah. Oh, as an actuary, I love to talk about life expectancy, Richard. It's such an important topic for advisors to get their heads around. Because if you Google how long's my client going to live, you probably get 10 different ages come up, or different calculators or tools. So it's something that's really important to understand, because when you're selecting that retirement planning horizon, that has a huge impact on the outcomes of your advice. So how long you're modeling over will not only impact the key questions you might be answering, like what can I afford to spend, but also what product strategies would work best for a client. I do go into it quite a bit in the report, this idea of how we select the retirement planning timeframe. So I start in the position as, when we look at life expectancy for an individual or a couple, the first thing we've got to recognize is a couple, there's two people. So we've
Yep.
got to look at the joint life expectancy, the age to which we expect the lives of the couple is going to survive to.
Yes.
We don't want our strategy only to last for the life of
Mm-hmm.
one person. Then we also make sure that we look at the life expectancies using our latest life tables,
Mm-hmm.
mortality improvements, this idea that we are, as a society, living longer. And then you might get to something like an average life expectancy. But what does that actually mean? It's average. It in fact, based on the distribution of lifespans, more than half of people will actually live beyond the average
Mm-hmm.
life expectancy. And I would suggest that most clients would want more than a toss of the coin chance that their strategy is going to last long enough. So we don't use average life expectancy when we did this modeling. We use what I call the 25% age. So this is the age beyond which only 25% of individuals or couples are expected to live beyond. So it gives you much higher confidence around a 3 in 4 chance that your time frame is long enough. And I think for advised retiree clients, for financial advisors, it's a really good starting point to cover off on longevity risk. Now, you might have some clients who want to be even more conservative and plan longer. But for this research, that's where we started. And I think that's a great starting point because something I talk to advisors about is who are the clients they're advising? Is their client actually representative of the average Australian population? I would suspect that for many advised clients with high net worth, there's a lot of research that's correlated high income, wealth, socioeconomic background to longer lifespans. So it might be that if an advised retiree sits in front of you, they're actually already above average in terms of their personal life expectancy. But no one knows how long they're going to live. In fact, something I love to speak about at the moment is, did you hear the news about Ken Weeks? I love to talk about Ken. He is the oldest living Australian person and he turned 112 a couple of weeks ago. So it just goes to show how long we actually are living and how important it is to pick the right time frame when we're doing any modelling of retirement.
Okay, well, congratulations, Ken. And I can see that it's important to allow for this 25% age, this age at which there's 25% chance that you'll make it, because then you'll have a planning period that can give a good high level of confidence. And I suppose 25% age, that's a 75% confidence level. It's the right number. Now I know this has been modelling using the Generation Life's life income. Can you just briefly describe the features of it and maybe how it's a bit different from some of the other products? Because I can see that you've been able to model the different asset allocations in your modelling.
Yeah, so Generation Life's life income product is an investment linked lifetime income product, which means when you invest in this product, the income is guaranteed for life, but the amount of income you can receive each year can go up and down. And you can also have a lot of choice around how you invest the money, which will drive different levels of risk and return over time that produces that income. So we have looked at a range of different investment options in this modelling and align that to what the account-based pension would also be invested with. So that's one positive feature I see about these investment linked products is that it does make it easy for the financial advisor in terms of if the client's risk profile is 70% growth, 70% growth in this product in terms of aligning with what you're doing. And from a portfolio construction perspective, feedback I've heard is that kind of helps from an implementation perspective. Another interesting feature about the Generation Life Income product is that you've got some life booster rates to pick from. Now, I know it's a bit jargony, but basically it means that you get to bring forward some of the future returns that your investments might receive. And what this does is help increases the starting payment. So you're cutting more today instead of more later, which for most retirees, I think is something that would resonate with them. There's some really interesting strategic things you can do with these booster rates. So you've got an option of 2 with life income, 2%, 2.5%, and 5%. And basically, it means the future returns on your investments get reduced by this booster rate. Now, you can play with that to help to do things strategically, like try and target inflationary increases in your income over time. But at the same time, get that income starting at a higher point than if you were using a product that didn't have that life booster rate. So I think that's a really interesting characteristic of this product. Some of the other features we draw out in the modelling is information for advisors about how this differentiates is there's some really interesting reversionary options with this product to make it 100% reversionary to a spouse, for example, or something less than that. Maybe they don't need the full income when you pass away. So yeah, there's a few interesting features, differentiating factors that we set out in the model in the report. Definitely worth a read for financial advisors wanting to understand some of the nuances of this particular product.
I suppose one of I suppose one of the things driving these increased confidence levels is the age pension boost, and the age pension boost applies to all longevity products, so traditional annuities and the other types of investment-linked products. Maybe when you looked at the different cohorts and the people with different balances, which were the ones where, life income and maybe some of the other products didn't achieve much increase in confidence, perhaps didn't kick goals like like on the table up at
Yeah.
the higher balances.
Yes. Well, I suppose intuitively it makes sense. It is the other end of the scale. So for households with lower asset balances who may already be on the full age pension or very close to being on the full age pension, an assets test assessment that is more beneficial actually isn't really doing anything, right? Because they're already on the full age pension. So for those lower asset households, and the ones we tested here was, yeah, as you can see, 350 for a single and 500 for a couple. There was still improvement, but it wasn't as material as we saw in those means tested and higher wealth brackets, where the longevity of that assets test assessment can make a really material impact on the age pension entitlements the household becomes entitled to. So I would say the lower the asset wealth of the household, the less impact the age pension benefit component of a lifetime income product flows through. There's still a lot of other qualitative benefits and benefits of these products in providing that guaranteed income for life, which can be very valuable even if you do have from the age pension assessment point of view and the outcomes leading from that. For those clients who are already at or nearly full age pension, the age pension means testing benefit of these lifetime income products, it doesn't have as big an impact.
Yeah, so just before we put this table away, so couples with less than 500,000, aren't on this, and singles less than 350. I assume that they're in the area where they're on full age pension, and there isn't, as you've said, the improvement isn't much.
Correct, and for those 2 brackets that we did test were on the lower end of the assets, for the households, and there was only sort of small improvements in those cohorts. Definitely still, worth a consideration for advisors in kind of the gold star. Big improvements we saw were definitely in those slightly higher asset bands up to kind of the wealth outside the asset brackets, what would definitely be recommended that advisors consider a lifetime income product like life income as part of the strategies for a client.
And were there any particular surprises or aha moments or unusual findings that came out for you?
I suppose I might be a bit unique that I've spent a lot of time looking at these types of products, so I'll probably throw that one back to you. But for
Okay.
me, it was just validating that we knew, and it's great to have the opportunity to do this type of research and let advisors know, outcomes of using these types of products. Advisors don't have the type of sophisticated models that I have at my fingertips. So it's really very fulfilling for me to be able to do this type of work and help advisors understand this product class and help them understand when to include it. I think some key things to remember that we did cite, we have assumed we've got a generally average health retiree here. If you have clients who are in poor health or have materially lower expectations of their life expectancy, that's a cohort where maybe a lifetime income product may not suit them. And again, if you have a client whose objective is not to consume their money, but simply maintain or grow their capital over retirement, then investing in a lifetime income product that is deliberately a very efficient mechanism to consume capital over your life may not be as appropriate as well.
The big thing that I got out of your report was this: people who are above the assets test,
Mm.
including a lifetime income product, did have a significant improvement. I think that was news to me, and maybe it would be news to advisors. And maybe there's sort of a good way to perhaps finish up, which is, in terms of advisors' interest and knowledge of longevity products and the benefits of it. What sort of improvements or trends have you seen, and what What do you think is going to come over the next year or two?
I think we'll continue to see more products come to market, utilizing all of the opportunities of the innovative income stream rules. And so I think that there'll be more for advisors to get across. So I'd say just really keep an ear to the ground on what products are available for your clients. And in general, the whole product class, including a lifetime income product, life income, can improve outcomes for a wide variety of clients. I know in the advice process, I'd love to see improvement over the next few years to help advisors more efficiently consider these types of products. So helping with better guidance around the lifetime income, sorry, the lifespan of a client, and building that into the tools and software that advisors use so that help them pick the right retirement timeframe. Helping advisors understand and compare these types of products, use them in their modeling. It can be a somewhat inefficient process at the moment. So I would love to see more work to help advisors be more efficient in how they can consume and consider these products. But for advisors, I think just, recognize this is a very viable product class for your retiree clients. It may not work for everyone. It probably won't work for everyone, but I would love to see most advisors consider a lifetime income product strategy as part of the set of strategies they consider for retiree clients. For me, I think that would be a win for everyone, as long as it's kind of part of the consideration set and we can help advisors understand this new product class. That would be a great outcome, I think, for the whole sector.
Oh, thank you, Mel, and congratulations on your report. And thank you for sharing the findings and your report and sharing a bit of excitement too.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, Richard.